compete against each other. Just that idea is really cool for me.
Thanks, guys.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Nice.
Are you done?
Nice content. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
In the interviews we've seen for both of these teams now, Casey really focusing on the idea of how's your team changed up to this TI, because we're no strangers to these squads, and it really is important to actually have that moment of reassessing everything and trying to figure out how do you get better. How do you, for some of these players, win your second TI? How do you become the first player to ever manage to do that? And from what we heard in this interview, they're definitely thinking about these improvements as well. Have we seen that throughout the year, though, in your mind, Grant?
I think for Secret, they've been the best the entire year. So it's really hard to look at them coming into this TI, right? You're one of the favorites. I think it was probably them, Vici Gaming, and LGD are like the three favorites coming in this. And EG, right? Third places. That's the whole thing until the last major where they got
Gaming
what,
and
second to
LGD
last
are
or
like
9th or whatever. And
it felt
EG,
really
right?
bad, but then they came into this TI, you know, they had a rough first major where they got
Gaming
and
and
second to last
LGD
there,
are 9th or whatever. And
it felt
EG,
really
right?
bad, but then they came into this TI, you know, they had a rough major where they got Gaming and second to last there, 9th or whatever. And it felt really bad, but then they came into this TI, you
There's
know,
no real
they had a
incentive
rough
for us to start shuffling around players. And that was something that North America has been guilty of for a very long time. As soon as you don't get the performance that you want, you're just like, let's just mix things up. But we're seeing here all the best teams, your Virtus Pros, your Secrets, your PSG.LGDs, and your EGs. These are teams that value being able to stick together with the same group of people. Maybe you might trade out a coach every once in a while, but even then, you see the value of sticking together with a squad.
You always need fresh ideas sometimes. Like, you can always be the 5 same players, but sometimes, you know, if it's not clicking or something happens, like, you do need a fresh idea in there sometimes, and I think that's where, you know, changing a coach might work.
Right.
Yeah, you don't have to necessarily break up all of the synergies that you've worked towards, but you can start to have that new, fresh thought push you outside of your comfort zone and also makes you a little bit less predictable as well. But when we talk about EG not having the best performance most recently when they are actually headed here into TI, do you think that that is somewhat of a throwaway? Do you think you can say, okay, that was just a bad tournament, or do you think it was a sign?
No, I think you can separate it, because for a lot of these teams, you have to remember that TI is just approached in an entirely different manner. You just compare the prize pools; it's night and day. It's such a vast difference that a lot of these teams, when they turn up, it's the reason why you sort of see teams like VP, right? They had a pretty good season. You expect them to sort of blur us away on the main stage. They had some really rough games in the groups. They had a rough showing in their first series yesterday on the main stage themselves. A team like EG, sure, previous major, they didn't look too hot, but you look back at their TI performance historically, obviously TI8 coming third, now coming into this one. Sure, even in game 2, just now, where they dropped the game, they still look to be on the top of their game. That game could have gone anyone's way.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you really think that that is maybe just people that have been up on this stage before being more prepared for it? Because we have also seen some of these newcomers really looking relatively comfortable up on the main stage.
Yeah, it's true. I still think, like, you always want to have that, like, I've been here, I know what it's like. Like, Nisha, sure, he still looks great, but you never know. This game 3, all of a sudden, he could just crumble. Obviously, he hasn't yet, but it's always better to have experience, right? No one wants to be inexperienced.
That's true, but oftentimes I find that whenever like a South American squad like Infamous comes, you come in, you've got nothing to lose. You're just happy to be here. They had one goal in mind. All they wanted to do was just place higher than any other South American team ever has, and they accomplished that. And whenever you come in with that devil-may-care attitude, and you're just happy to soak in the crowd, see the experience, just be flown out all across the world, I think that has a little bit of its own charm as well.
But they are in losers, and this is probably the highest tier winner bracket match of probably the event so far, it feels like.
Definitely, and I feel like when we do look at that lower bracket, because that lower bracket definitely going to be coming into play a lot more tomorrow as well. We're going to have some matches in it to round out the day, but you start thinking about which of these teams can make a run. Is it going to be someone with a lot of experience, or is it potentially going to be one of these things? It's really exciting to actually look at it and look at a new generation of players and say, hey, they can really just throw some of these players for an absolute run. Maybe they're not getting the respect that they necessarily deserve, but once you're up here on the TI stage, I think you definitely do get it.
That's what a lot of people thought about Thompson last year.
He
was just a pub star. You know, he's building Meteor Hammer and Voker. People would joke literally in his chat and be like, OG Thompson, you know, when's that going to happen?
Oh, no, exactly. I remember Kyle, right, infamously said about, you know, he joked about Thompson. You know, the fact that the OG were overrating Thompson.
Right.
You know, they're like, why are they picking up a pub player? And then he goes and wins TI. So really, there are players out there I do believe still that there are more Thompsons.
I mean,
in the
mind
scene.
control TI7, right?
Mind control
Like
as well.
exactly. Like the guy just literally only played in-house leagues, was the top player at in-house leagues like 6 months in a row. You pick him up, and oh wait, he is really that good, no matter where you put him at.
Even though that newbie true side, the TI7 true side at the very end was just like, the Chinese translation was like, it's your first TI, you can't expect to win. You're not a god or something like that.
Yeah.
And then in comes Top God himself winning it easy.
And you think about, and obviously, like, we have some people who can speak to it very well. I mean, some of them going to be over on that draft panel. What do you actually think of a player that you haven't played up against before? How do you actually prepare for that matchup when it is a tournament like TI? Are you going to actually try to watch a lot of VOD on them? Are you just going to go with what you know and just try to beat the team? It is a really interesting dynamic, and I think that sometimes it does favor the younger player. If they have that attitude, like, I mean, when we heard those interviews, they were just like, yeah, we don't care who we're playing against. We don't necessarily look up to anyone. We love the game. We're here to play the game. And I know if I was standing next to a player that I've watched forever, I'd probably pee my pants, let alone playing against them, right? I mean, I already mentioned yesterday, I don't know if you guys read, but when I met Dendy, I did like pee my pants just a little bit. It's Dendy, you know? I grew up watching the guy. I tried to ask him to shake my hand and just flew it. It was not what I was like, you know what I mean? And to actually get into the booth and to play against someone like, imagine playing against somebody like Sumail if you're just coming up as a new player. Like, you've watched him get a chip, you've watched him win a TI. I can't imagine what that would be like for a player.
I mean, I 1v1 Sumail back in the day, back when he was first joining EG.
Taught him everything he knew.
We ran 10 1v1s, and I did indeed. It was all SF versus SF, and I did beat 2 of them. So, you know.
Wow.
Could have been up there, Grant. What happened? Why are you here with us?
You know, I decided you guys are a great bunch of people, and also I'm trash at Dota.
No, okay.
You went a different route. You
I did,
you definitely
indeed.
did, but we're happy you're here.
It's very weird to consider that out of the entire EG squad, Sumail is still the least experienced player. Even though they've been there for, like, all those players have been there for so long.
Yeah, I mean, him and Arteezy, right? That's the thing, like, because Arteezy, you know, he had that break on the Secret even before that when he was on some weird, like, KP stacks,
That's
like
right.
TI3. Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, we've talked about this matchup quite a bit. Now we are ready to get it started. Team Secret versus Evil Geniuses. It's all going to be settled in this game.
Versus Evil Geniuses. Game 3.
It all comes down to this game 3 now between Evil Geniuses and Team Secret. And I've got PSG and PP.
Evil
to break down the
Geniuses,
draft.
turn to
Peter, I actually
battle.
wanted to start with you. They actually had the conversation in there about being able to bring up a new player. You obviously had that experience with Sumail. What's it like to be able to pull somebody new into the competitive scene and kind of mold them?
Sometimes
into
things
the
don't
professional
mesh.
player?
Sometimes there's
A lot of times
tension
the older
between players.
actually learn
There's so much that
quite
can
a
go
lot
wrong
from
in
the older
Dota. It's such a
players.
high-stress
disagree with
game,
just about everything said
and it's
there.
not always clear-cut what went wrong.
okay.
Like,
It's-
two different players
I
on the
don't know,
same
it's
team can
like,
have a
you know,
different
you keep a team together,
perspective
but sometimes
of
it's
why
not
you
just
lost a
nice.
game, and that just
Sometimes,
creates
like,
so many
the reason
natural
why
ways
these
to have
teams stick
tension
together
between
is
players.
because
Sorry to interrupt, but
players
we got
know
a
they don't
dynamic
have
going on here.
issues
EG's
amongst
dipping
each
into the
other.
reserve
hardest
time. Enchantress
competitor
still in
out
the
there,
pool,
you know,
but Secret banned Leshrac.
inside
So
you and the four
will
of the team that's in
EG
your
have
group. The
another
hardest thing
answer
about
for this
being on a
first
team
pick
is
Enchantress,
playing-
or is Bulba going to ban it?
And I'm sure the Tidehunter came as a bit of a surprise ban as well, right? You don't oftentimes see this in the first 3.
It's a strong hero, but Secret decides they just don't want it in the game.
It's annoying to play against. I think Secret was outdrafted those first 2 games. I think that last game, that was EG's to lose, man. I hope they're not too shaken up.
And this is going to lead, because of these sort of bans, the Leshrac and the Tide heroes that we don't typically see, there's going to be some heroes out there in the pool that we don't normally see be left out there.
What is 1:15 left on the reserve time? Make up your mind, Bulba. What is going on?
Maybe the mouse disconnected, you know? Oh, the Earthshaker.
Okay,
They've left Enchantress, then maybe they think that's like a crucial part of the Enchantress's like early game to have that Earthshaker fissure block.
Oh, I think that this hero was banned.
I think both games
in the previous games.
Yeah.
So that hero's slipping through. Shaker going out.
Ogre's a #1 hero that comes to mind as a combination with Mirana.
Was Shaker that scary last game? I mean, Yapster did some work, but not until like 30 minutes. Plus,
it definitely took a while for him to show up to the game.
The hero's kind of slow. A lot of 4 players I've talked to actually don't really like Shaker that much, and that's maybe why we've seen it be more popular in the 3 position. Is like, you know, you get at that farm priority. Otherwise, as a 4 position,
kind of want these heroes with that natural initiation. We've seen some Treant, we've seen some Nyx, Earth Spirits, you know, these ranged heroes, Pod and Wind Ranger. Like, they don't really need this, you know, 2K gold item that they're like, oh guys, I'm gonna farm top lane for a bit. They just keep going and going and going, and Shaker kind of needs a little startup. And EG's actually gonna get the Ench here on second pick. I think this hero's fantastic.
Now going to be enabled by the Shadow Demon, second pick.
They kind of block picked this Ogre, right? With the double purge. We talked about with the Magnus Empower early on in the tournament. You can purge the Empower, and I think we've seen the Enchantress against the Ogre where you just purge the Bloodlust.
Yeah, forget Ogre. That hero's like kind of like a cool first pick for some teams because they're willing to play it on 3 or 5 or 4. But once it gets past like this first phase of the draft and nobody goes for it, I think the hero kind of loses a lot of. You might be able to pick it, you know, EG could potentially pick it out the second phase.
Do you think Mirana fulfills that role already, that kind of flex first pick that gives you a lot of options?
I think when you first pick Mirana, I think that you've already committed to that hero being a 4 position.
Okay, there's no other options for you?
The hero just doesn't really have great matchups. I think we saw Fnatic, I mean, they beat my team with it, but you know, a lot of people beat my team with a lot of things in this tournament. But we saw Fnatic play it on the safe lane. Most teams, I think, put it mid lane. We had Fada playing it quite a lot for us as well. It's just, as the draft progresses, you're never thinking like, oh, Mirana's getting like, he's becoming such a better mid laner this game. It's like, it's kind of this hero you pick maybe 8-9, and you just say, okay, like go mid, arrow the range creeps, you know, you catch up, do some jungling.
And you've got a nice pairing with it to be a 4 position, right? This 3 position Sand King, great combo.
Yeah, it's a strong lane. You either have some kill potential on the lane, or Pot can just go arrow some jungle camps, get that bottle to start, you know, playing the rune game. I'm curious what their Ench killer will be, though. It's going to come later in the draft. It's probably going to be on Nisha's hero, I would guess.
So in your head, is Sand King just not enough damage to be able to deal with the Enchantress?
No, definitely not. I think a lot of these Enchantresses in the offline, I think they go for that hood, that self item to keep themselves alive. And then if they even need more survivability, they'll go for a 4-staff. If they need armor, they'll go Medallion into Solar Crest. And their whole entire goal is to create this barrier between their teammates and the enemy. So that way, when they go on the Ench, it takes a ton of commitment to kill her, and then they can counter-initiate.
And also, if you manage to keep the Ench alive, the other team on the retreat, that's when Enchantress does most of the damage, right?
Definitely.
I don't think it's usually Enchantress's team going on them and Enchantress wailing on the enemy team. It's the Enchantress getting gone on and then surviving.
It's scary. You're thinking, can we kill the Ench?
Yeah.
Do we have enough to kill the Ench?
And
then, oh, she's at 200 HP, and now she's healing back up to full, and she's throwing impetus as you're, you know, everybody's scattering in all directions.
Especially if you have a save mechanism, which they have in the Shadow Demon. She gets off Nature's Attendants, gets saved by Disruption, she comes back, boom, she's got a good 300, 400 health more.
Yeah. But what we saw in EG's first game, where they actually managed to defeat the Enchantress, is they had enough power to threaten the Ench early, so that way she couldn't play in their face. And then eventually, as the game got later, Enchantress started to fall off, and then they just got their BKBs, and they had this AoE damage that, you know, kind of put her down. And we've seen these Potoms go this Aghanims on a lot of these 4 positions, and that's a ton of magical burst damage. Even in E-Blade later, the Dagons, right? They're definitely going to have some damage with this hero.
So is that a 3 mag 4? Like,
this is definitely going to be a crit Magnus, a fly Shadow Demon, and an S4 Enchantress. And there's the Ogre.
I don't know if I like the Ogre pick. I think Evil Genius has purposely picked Enchantress Shadow Demon to kind of block that.
Well, Ogre does have a decent laning phase against Enchantress. He has a lot of armor, natural regen. He can tank a lot of right clicks. I don't like it that much myself either, to be completely honest. But I can see the direction. He definitely can man up and fight against the Shadow Demon and the Magnus. So they'll have a hard time helping out. But the Mag and Power plus the Enchantress right clicking away, it might be too hard for Team Secret to deal with in their safe lane.
I thought they might go for some counter initiation on the RP. So far, I haven't seen that, right? Usually, when I say counter initiation, yeah, you have Sand King, but whoever gets some power is going to have a BKB, and you want some natural way to either make it hard to RP you with a hero like Slark, or make it so that you can disrupt the RP once it happens.
EG once again going for their mid hero before the final pick of the game, picking up Sumail's Ember Spirit, similar to his last track. This is a hero that he's played a million times and he's really excelled on. I'd be curious to see if the Slark maybe try to go match up mid lane against the Ember Spirit. We've seen infamous Chris Luck notably taking the Slark mid lane a couple times. Even we saw mid one. Actually, yeah, maybe it's a mid one Slark.
Yeah, I was thinking it's most likely a mid Slark for the good matchup mid. And
remember the hood mid one Slark?
Yeah,
the Hood of Defiance.
Eternal Envy coined that, man.
now? Let's not. Okay, fair enough. I mean,
gotta give credit where it's due, even if
sure.
EG going to take out. They agree with you. They say, hey, this is probably going to be a mid one Slark, so we're going to take out a safe laner that does deal with Enchantress. We're going to go back to that Gyrocopter ban. What's left when it comes to dealing with this Enchantress, or have we done enough?
I think they need I think they need a hero that can sustain up against it. There's a lot of people like Sven because he has the opportunity to go jungle early. He also has high armor. He can kind of, he can weather the storm of the early game Enchantress. There's the Void ban, which, I mean, I think supports my theory of Sven being the last pick here.
It's also really good against Slark and Mirana, though. And they have no save. I think it would have been really annoying to deal with the Void.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I
don't necessarily know if that bodes against their last pick,
10 seconds.
Could just be to block with already is good against what they have.
Yeah, I haven't seen RTZ play Void yet this tournament, but that hero has been rising in popularity. Not only Nisha winning the last game with it, but we've seen Ame from LGD playing it, and I'm not sure who else has played it. It's won a couple games, though. They got a ton of reserve time to decide on this last pick.
Is PA just, like, too crazy here? Is that too slow?
PA is... that hero's really slow. That being said, if the hero does get through laning phase, it's a pretty good PA game. It's very good against Ench. Can kill Ench. It's also really good against Ember. Ember actually really doesn't like playing against high physical damage burst heroes. And Weaver, wow.
There's some more physical damage for you.
This hero's actually really good in lane against Enchantress. You can stay there quite a while. You can buy an early bottle, have a ton of sustain. You can even go, I don't know if you go Linken's, but I was saying if you do go Linken's, you get early ring of health.
I wouldn't be surprised if he buys a Manta this game. Usually I've seen Weavers go one survivability item. I don't think Linken's does anything for you.
Yeah, he probably wants a way to get out of those roots from Ember, right?
Yeah.
A minute to decide for Evil Geniuses. They need something that is going to pair up still with the Empower while simultaneously being able to deal with these slippery agility cores that Team Secret have picked up 4-5.
Yeah, we go from last game, which was Wombo combo team fight, and now Team Secret has virtually no team fight, only Sand King, and they have a bunch of mobile, elusive, like you said, pick off, wave clear, and I don't think we're going to see... The goal of this game for Secret is to not give EG the team fight they need, right, with this Magnus RP. But then at the same time, a lot of teams have just been valuing the Empower of Magnus more so than the team fight that it represents. It's almost going to be a farm race, while there's a lot of... It's going to be a lot about the split push pressure on the map.
I wonder... I'm trying to think of a carry that RTZ could play here that works, and I'm just not sure I can think of one. Is it possible that RTZ would play Ember Spirit, and they pick a new mid for Sumail?
You could just go something like Tiny. They go PA themselves.
Going for it. All right. Mag PA. We'll see if they can.
Sure.
Yeah, let's see if they can take it into the late game. PA needs a lot of farm.
A hero that can jump on some of these agility cores, look to be able to blow them up before they slip away. BSJ, do you like that last pick?
I think PA is a really good matchup against Slark, as long as the Slark doesn't take over the mid game too much. And if they able to create space for him, which kind of hard to know with the Ember Spirit versus this Slark mid. I believe in the EG draft, though. I like it more so than the Secret draft.
It's surprising considering you are the Slark aficionado, but we do have Casey, who now has an interview with Sunbeam.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Thank you so much, Casey. Yes, we have run the gamut with this series. It has all happened. Craziness, historical moments, and now a game number 3. Trent, it had to end this way.
It had to. It had to, of course. You don't want it any other way. We came up here hoping for a game 3. Does that make us biased? I think so. I mean, finally we're hoping for something when we're casting. We're allowed to go after one thing, and that's always going to be the game 3. We want more opportunities for these players to shine. We want more of those beautiful moment that you get. That's what TI is all about.
Absolutely. And as we hop into this game number 3, it can't help but feel like it might end up running into the same type of issues that we've seen previously, where you sit around for a while, you get your farm going, but Mag PA, that to me, it's a back from time to time if you can make something happen.
Yeah, it always feels good when you kind of seem to be the alpha carry in a game when you're PA, you know? Like, eventually, I got this. Now, I don't know if he's going to get a rapier, like some of these other wild carries out there like Amit, but I'm hoping so.
Oh, absolutely. That is sort of the be-all, end-all. We saw it with the Aghanim Scepter, kind of a unique build for anybody that missed those games earlier. The Aghanim Scepter PA into Rapier. One of the craziest builds ever. He got it even when they were ahead.
It's become very common, though. I mean, I keep seeing this Aghanims on the PA games. I think it's become a staple of the build that the effect on the Blur is just crazy. She's already so annoying to play against, but having that instant cast time as well as the Dispel, can't forget about that, is very handy.
And see already kind of an interesting ward place down for EG, wanting to scout the rotations from Secret.
I like Sumail there. You can't see me. Trying to be as elusive as possible on the Ember, and Fly ever so excited to play some more shouting. That looks like a face Rich would make if they asked for a photo.
True enough. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we need to take a little bit of a breath and reset after that last game. The panel was able to talk for a while about it, but it did kind of just feel like one of those games that, how do you recover for that as EG afterwards? It's going to need to just come in and I guess play entirely different heroes and put it behind you.
The battle begins.
Yeah, definitely something that maybe Bulba focusing on there, right? Mental effort there as Crit able to out-click Nisha. Very difficult against those core players. Yeah, they love the spam, but Crit, he's got it. You know, this guy, he plays a mean troll too.
That's the only bounty rune they were able to get, though. Secret up the other 3, the rest of the map.
Yeah, it's very scary up top, right? You have Sand King, Mirana, very good setup for the arrow. And the setup overall isn't incredible this game. Their last pick, you know, that OD sitting there, I'm sure they were probably tempted by it, but they allowed me to keep that in the mid lane. Mid wanted that instead for the matchup, and looking to have a very good mid game here in timing with Nisha. They don't really have like the alpha carry, right? If I had to pick to come out on top, if this game just keeps on rolling, I got to go with RTZ, especially when he's dealing.
Oh, Sumail steals the tree and then eats another one afterwards.
Can't do that.
Not sure what that was all about, but mid one getting hurt a little bit there. I mean, he dropped the tree and ate another one afterwards, right? Is that crazy? You know, well, nonetheless.
But by the way, our crowd reacted. It sounded like it. Oh!
Uh-oh, S4.
There they go again.
He's gonna beat him down. That Orb of Venom. And
yeah, now it's trying to find a skewer here. He's got the angle.
Looking for the moment. Get on back over here, buddy, but not within the tower range. Still going to be able to body block here. S4 trying to trade hits, but that is a big tanky ogre who does not care about the little enchantress. But look across these lanes. Everything fairly good for Secret early on. So they have 7 last hits on the
that arrow.
Woo! Barely off the mark. Very away from that.
Man, so chill. I can't believe there's no tips after that. Yeah, the chat willing, the tipping, the high fives, those have gone by the wayside. Now that we've moved into game 3. You know, game 1, everyone's so happy-go-lucky, hoo-hoo-hoo. Not so much now, very silent.
Both teams, obviously, with a ton on the line, and feeling like they need to make this play happen as another Yapster rotation towards the mid lane. That was scouted out, the Arcane Rune, and they should know that the Mirana's in the area. In fact, Crit's going to come in and see if he can find a skewer play. Yapstor over in the trees. They run into him. That will stop the pressure. It looks
he can just chase him, right? If he's just keeping vision on Yapstor, the game is going better for EG. Stop him from getting kills, even try and block him from airing neutral, steal some of his XP. Crit, his only role this game is to empower. There's a high five. You know, oh, thanks for the XP, buddy.
Well done. Oh, top lane again, bottom lane again. S4 gonna get caught and gonna go down. Denisha finding the kill.
Yeah, they have their own answer for this Ench, right? Of course, already playing it early in the series. They know how to try and get through that damage in the laning stage. As Yapstor will shoot another arrow, but hit the miss once again. Just stealing some farm from his mid laner. Oh, I missed him. Sorry. Tactics coming out here from Yapstor. I mean, we all know what he does.
That's true.
To get the goal.
Gotta do what you gotta do to make it happen. But you can see that the big loser so far in this lane is going to be S4 right now. Only one last hit in comparison to the 20 and 13. As mid lane, mid one, going to be able to jump away from Crit. And this is something I'm maybe a little bit concerned about. In both of the previous games, EG looked very good with Crit getting a ton of farm. And not really like it's going to be the case in this game as Nisha bloodlusted up.
Yeah, S4. He's just level 2. So Nisha easily able to harass through him there with the 1-1-1 build. Now Yaps are going to be found out again here. More XP. Dished out to his opponents.
Sumail's just chasing him. I mean, the wave is pushing at the very least, so this isn't going to be that many last hits lost unless mid one can keep track of the lane, and that's going to keep it in a better position.
But they do want to get some stacks off while they're here, though, right? So Fly's going to get the double as he's passing through. Very nice. Very efficient with these from EG.
Yeah, in the previous games.
Oh, and mana pool for Puppey canceled by Crit. Very good stuff there. The last thing you need is just more spam onto S4 as he tries to deal with Nisha.
And all lanes right now going incredibly well for Secret. This is the Secret that we were expecting to see coming into this. 2,000 gold lead at 4 minutes.
Yeah, and it's pretty clear when you just look at the last hits where it's all coming from, right? I mean, they have 3 cores.
Oh, and they got Sumail in the mid lane. Gonna trade. It's still not enough. He took some tower shots, and now instead it's gonna be mid one in trouble. Chase down, one more hit. That's what they need. And then with the salvo, it's not enough. Mid one goes down.
And Crit hands it over to Sumail as well there.
And on the other side, Fly got Zai. So all the lanes going great, and a couple of kills just given away.
Yeah, had the sentry prepped, and I guess Zai trying to outplay him there. Now S4 as well. The Timbersoft actually has reached level 3, so much harder to deal with. Puppey goes into the bounty rune. Might cost him his life.
Feels like it's well worth it indeed if they can get it. As the skewer back onto Puppey, body blocked in, and Sumail just keeps running around at level 5. No fear, no cares about the mid lane. I mean, there's no hitting CS in there, but he's just getting kills.
Up top as well. Looks like Zai's under the tower. Ooh, they missed the arrow.
Good blink away there from Artur. Going to keep the pressure back away from him. Can see the strength of the Sand King. In spite of that death, still 36 CS here.
And look how it just goes right back up too, right? Because the last hits, they're still stacking on Secret's side. Right up to that 2K even after losing 2 heroes.
Definitely.
Ooh, good sentry there. Catches the Observer where there was placed down by Fly.
He's going to try and go for another round of stacks here. Should be able to pick up both of them. Sumail looking to maybe get another, but quite going to get that time. So it's going to be the 2 stack. Still quite good.
Man, they are all over this stuff. I mean, it's not been employing in this series so far. It's only level 1 in power, though. So, sorry, but that's all I got. Oh, and there you go.
He's still one of them, but now they know. Sentry ward drop down for Fly does not scout out. It's just Yaps are knowing where they were going to be.
I feel like Crit's inevitably going to feed here. He's like trying to get as many levels as he can, but a level 6 Slark is very spooky. A single point in the pounce is still 2.5 seconds. That thing has a serious value point at level 1.
And mid one wisely keeping the creep wave as close to his hill as possible. Crit just tries to soaks up what he can. And in the meantime, you can see Sumail here farming up, taking a good amount of damage, but he clears through those stacks. And I mean, he's almost top of the net worth because of it. You talked about it. Mid lane, leashing onto Crit.
He's still worried about these skewer. He doesn't know what kind of follow-up is there, so has to let him go. He would have to commit the ult if he wanted to go for the whole kill. Plus he, well, now he's 2 points left to Darkback too, I suppose.
Time, Zai turns the burrow strike onto 1, the arrow, but the disruption is there. CC gets the blink away afterwards.
S4's game still very difficult now. Almost half the net worth. Zai at this point from Sand King.
So how concerning is this early game for Evil Geniuses? They're 2,000 gold down at about 7.5 minutes. Do the stacks make up for it at all?
They're going to be a dual core kind of a game, very akin to what happened with Secret in the first game. I mean, okay, that was kind of just a solo core of just Nisha on the Wraith King, but S4, I don't know how much you can expect from him, frankly, this game. I think that he's already kind of not set up for the best looking game, right? Simply because of he got picked so early. He doesn't have a lot of control over Sumail getting the big bolas to help him the damage out.
Yeah. Well, and Puppy does manage to get the TP out of there. Sumail already getting very active on this hero. Ember Spirit rotating at level 5, not something that you often see, but did mean that he was able to pick up 2 kills off of it.
Yeah, that's an 8-minute Midas now for mid one. No boots, just Wraithband, Midas. Flashing it in that mid lane for all to see. Meanwhile, now Zai, you can see, got a big item himself too. That failed complete. And pretty scary stuff here for a PA who's sitting this low. Has a respect potential arrow that could come from Yaps, but they don't have a lane ward either, so he's not sure how many heroes are here from Secret.
But able to get that remnant out, they did not have the pounce for the follow-up.
Yeah, no shrine ready though.
Is under attack.
So that's going to be
able to get that remnant out
for quite
they did
a
not
while.
have the pounce for the
damage
follow-up.
coming from Zai. No shrine ready. Quelling blade the other sentry, but then setting up for another arrow.
Able to get that remnant out
for quite a while. Damage coming from Zai. No shrine ready. Quelling blade the other sentry, but then setting up for another arrow.
Able to get that remnant out for quite a while.
Damage coming from Zai. No shrine ready. Quelling blade the other sentry, but then setting up for another arrow. Able to get that remnant out for quite a while. Damage coming from Zai. No shrine ready. Quelling blade the other sentry, but then setting up for another arrow. Able to get that remnant out for quite a while. Damage coming from Zai. No shrine ready. Quelling blade the other sentry, but then setting up for another arrow. Able to get that remnant out for quite a while. Damage coming from Zai. No shrine ready. Quelling blade the other sentry, but then setting up for another arrow. Able to get that remnant out for quite a while. Damage coming from Zai. No shrine ready. Quelling blade the other sentry, but then setting up for another arrow. Able to get that remnant out for quite a while. Damage coming from Zai. No shrine ready. Quelling blade the other sentry, but then setting up for another arrow. Able to get that remnant out for quite a while.
But now the question is, how do Secret invade the jungle? They have a smoke going to be switched back over into the inventory. Takes a moment.
Look at this. The gang.
They're just hanging out, man.
They got the smoke. Here we go.
They know where Sumail's going to be, and they're heading right there.
Yeah, they have an observer ward down bottom that's seeing where TG's farming.
And they walk up to high ground. Sumail, does he for remnant out? Doesn't look like it. He throws one now.
Crits had these incredible games, and you give him the mag. It's tough, right? Even if he finds this RP, that's once every 2 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't a flashy hero for him that can get things moving across the map. He has to wait. You know, he has to rely on Sumail and Arteezy to carry him.
This could be good though if they can get this catch on the mid one.
Can they though?
They're thinking about it. Disruption to open up, and now Arteezy. Now Shadow Dance just walks away, and
you always get one.
That's both your fours.
Time to get Dust. I planned on his last sentry and says, I need some last hits here, guys, because Dust is expensive.
Well, that is going to be 5-5. That one with the Moonlight Shadow able to escape, and now for initiation afterwards. Dodges the arrow, but Fly just walks into it.
Yeah. It is such an expensive game here for the supports, and this is not a GPM hero here for Fly, not a GPM hero here for Crit, so you need Dust for everybody else, you need Sentries for the Slark because of the Dark Pack. How are you going to keep tracking this Moonlight Shadow? Plus you've got the limit on the Sentries, which is another reason why Mirana has started to become a little bit more powerful of a hero. Now smoked up again here, very aggressive. Oh, that slight hit you more than he expected, and he got out of there.
Immediate reaction, that's the blink reveal. So EG dodging away from the angle. Losai walks up to the high ground, in a lot of trouble. Arteezy just finds him, can they get the kill in time? The arrow connects and the burrow strike comes through. And as Zip trying to find a finish for his team. A triple kill for Yapzor though. Nisha just running away. Needs a couple more, long duration, but he's invis away and 4 dead for Evil Geniuses.
The kill on the mid one was pretty huge though. I did not think they were gonna get it. But Arteezy getting a couple nice crits there with the help of the Empower. Makes that a 4 for 3. It's still favors EG in terms of gold, but the fact that the PA and Ember are going down, they're not going to be farming this whole time. And now a potential kill here on that score.
And he's just dropping all the magical damage in the world, and EG don't have an answer. They're going to take down this tier 1 tower. It feels like the story of the game in a way is Evil Geniuses just needing to hold off. But I'm not sure if they're going to have what it takes.
They do not have way to clear. They don't have spam. When you're this far behind, this is very scary stuff. Sumail's going for drums. He knows he's going to have to go combat build here.
On the other side, you do see the Remnant forward. Just going to try and...
I think they're only going to get 1 bounty rune again.
Yeah.
They're scared. And the lead grows. The rich get richer.
This is so often the story of these games. Almost 3,000 bounty gold going the way of Secret. You can see 11 bounties there with 750, all that EG's been able to collect at this point in the game. And that's only a portion of the net worth difference between these two teams.
You gotta think losing those big games, the mental toll, maybe leading to mistakes here.
And Arteezy again caught back behind. He's at this freaking tier 2, it feels like. And, well, they are going to call off the charge, but Secret are just leaving no stone unturned in this quest for pressuring EG. Ed one already having that drums done. S4 looking to make something happen. Walking into his own jungle, but does not look like they'll be able to pick off Nisha. Maybe a bit far forward, but he is underneath his own team's vision.
He is not worried this game.
Yeah.
A Manta this game is pretty much a BKB. When it comes to Suns in control, right? Like, you're gonna get like RP'd anyway. Other than that, though, if he can just Manta his way out of the Searing Chains.
Oh my God, look at this. It's 16 minutes in.
I don't blame it. It's not wrong, man. And this game is out of control.
The thing that's so crazy about this, too, is if you consider, you know, what PPD was saying during the panel, right? Like this, it felt like EG outdrafted them both games. And this one, it just has not gone the way they wanted at all. 9,000 lead at 16 minutes. Secret doing everything that they want and a little bit more.
Yeah, lane matchups just going extremely well for Secret, and then the key after the match is just make sure you don't make mistakes. Uncharacteristic errors in the first 2 games. This looks more like the Secret that you expect clinical here, as they're taking EG to school.
One sitting top of the net worth, place he has not been so far this series, it feels like. That definitely make people shudder.
Right, though, you got Arteezy now, up to the decimal, right? That's a long investment, finally coming to fruition for the power of the Empower. I've seen a couple games like this, you know? The PA, not the hero you want to have to tango with when you're so far ahead. The game feels free, everything seems fine, and suddenly she crits through your heroes and you lose a team fight out of nowhere.
Okay. And that's going to depend upon Crit finding those big initiations. And he's almost towards that Blink Dagger as
crits
well.
on crits on crits, you know?
Yes. With Crit to help. Perfect. Arrow comes out, disruption. This draft as well, as you've got some pretty decent save. The Atos on Mirana, kind of an interesting adaptation from Yapzor.
Just another thing to worry about for the PA and the Ember, as well as just giving them some tools to play against S4 too. So,
EG smoked up. What are they going to accomplish accomplish this one. Got their eyes sort of on Zai, but back towards the mid. Mid one is going to be running through, and now a little bit of trepidation coming out from EG. This smoke doesn't look like it's going to accomplish that much.
Yeah, and now we're still just sitting with the Moonlight Shadows. They got their own pseudo smoke every once in a while if they want to try and play aggressive and flex their lead. Yeah. But currently they're waiting on that blade as mid one finishes it in the mid lane here on that last creep.
And it felt like they were going for that play with the DD on the Ember Spirit, see if they can find a fight. If not, just back out afterwards. Try and wait for those BKBs, which both cores are now queuing up.
And likely the same story for mid one here soon too, right?
Yep. Throwing out an impetus shot. Causes a little bit of trouble. I like, by the way, how S4 doesn't have the Mortal equipped, because I feel like the rainbows show off a little bit better. This is like, it's a hidey way. You know what I mean?
Tactical.
Exactly.
Are you accused of pay to lose here?
It's a possibility.
Careful now, Gabe. Keep your job. All cosmetics are amazing and make you play better. Don't forget to get your signed Trove Carib. Has anyone ever flexed that in the middle of a cast?
I don't think so. You're first,
When there's a 9K lead, there's only so much you can do.
10 to 8. As you said, 9K lead. Playing this one safe, not needing to go too far forward and get caught out of position, because that's the big thing, right? The Blink Dagger is just now complete for crit. Do you think that EG try and make a move with that, or do they have to wait for BKBs?
I think they're playing defensively, waiting for BKBs. If there is some sort of aggression from Secret, they'll go for the RP, but maybe they're going to try and at least get out their jungle here, try and regain some control. Seems to be the movement that they've got going on. They are keeping steady, right? It's been a 9K lead for a while.
Oh, and he breaks the smoke, and they don't get the chains, and mid one just walks away. Oh, God. That one hurts. That one hurts a lot.
And he had that sentry. He knew that sentry was there, too. Yeah. Now they missed the sentry on the high ground, too.
Secret gonna pick up 3 bounty runes, it looks like. Okay, that's a good one. They pull him back in, trying to find mid one, able to get into the Shadow Dance.
No mana there on crit. Also, wasn't sure about the Dark Path. Want to go for the RP, so.
Yeah, understandable. So, 20-minute mark.
In the meantime, they're losing control of the lanes. Nisha up top, versus the crew in the middle, arrowing the catapult, speeding things up here with the block. Hard to push at bottom tier 1 without losing a lot. And Nisha, he wants to put the maximum threat here of the top lane into play.
Force people back that willing to have to deal with this. Does not have, ended up going for phase boots, not going for any boots travel early on to try and deal with this pressure. He can pressure down the tier 1 tower in the bottom lane, get his team a little bit more gold, and get him closer to the...
I mean, they even get a scan, though, and they're still just losing mid-tower. Mid one is poking and prodding. They're going to take at least 600 damage on that tier 3 top. All things going the way of Team Secret as EG continue the path towards BKBs.
Well, and again, you think about what happens when those BKBs do eventually come out. You've got the RP available for your high ground defense with the Blink Dagger done on crit. A lot of ways to try and bait out reactions, with whether it's the Sleight of Fist into chains or what have you. But it does kind of feel like EG are just going to have to play defense.
I like that Secret are playing very quick, though, right? They're not resting on their laurels at all. They've taken all the tier 2s in the top area. I think a lot of times throughout this group stage, we've seen teams get a similar lead, but not press it this much. They've kind of left that like tier 2. Maybe they take the top one nice and early, but they are really putting the strangle onto EG right now.
Maybe to try and keep that pressure on as they take down Roshan. Do have a couple of other items that could get picked up still. Mjolnir if they wanted to on the...
I think with an Aegis, I like that.
Shadows, take us.
A little bit more.
Yeah.
I think he just popped one. Yeah, this guy's getting arcane runes everywhere.
S4 showing mid. Does not look like Secret one jump on him. Maybe anticipate play. Down bottom, Zai is scouting out RTZ.
They're trying their own bait play down here.
This could be
Then he needs the fresh and power.
All right, need to be careful. TZ just gonna jump away. Force out the rotation from Zai, and that looks like it's enough from EG to decide to back out.
Unfortunately for them, Zai has bots. So he's the one who's trying to keep this pressure up and let them play fast.
And look out.
arrived, but of course his game it's not really an off-lane game.
It's true.
He's a jacked up support at this point. He's behind Yapsor. Okay, now he's ahead. Okay, and then behind, and then ahead.
Back and forth. I will say one thing that's nice about the Ench is getting up to that level 12 does severely increase the amount of damage that you deal with that impetus. But not a whole lot of those sort of right-click attack speed items as of yet for the Ench.
I mean, they got the doubly slippery heroes too, right? And the Weaver and the Slark and the CC is not all there from EG right now. How often have we talked about stuns just winning you some dotes?
So how does Secret actually go high ground though? It feels like EG have a really good lineup for holding on to it. That Ember Spirit now finishing off the BKB as well.
A lot of it's dependent on crit. He's now stunned up and arrows.
Oh, disruption. Flies. He is done. For TZ close up one, that side already can they find any more? Mid one tries to pop away. They have decided to chase, and Yapsor going to die. Puppey off to the side, able to get himself out. So they do manage to win a quick fight there. Signs of life from EG.
A lot of damage there, not just even Arteezy, right? Got through there with S4 and Sumail. Everyone putting their weight into it.
And the biggest thing, no BKBs popped.
That is a very good point.
Radiant's middle tower under attack.
Illusion.